What's up, everybody? Mike Dussault, Evan Lazar, Patriots.com. We are back after day 2 of the draft. And Evan, yesterday they traded down. They picked up Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Today they just stayed put. They took 2 guys. They stayed on the defensive side of the ball, starting with Keon White from Georgia Tech. A little bit of a surprise, I think.
It was a little bit of a surprise, but I do want to say that this was a consensus player at this point in the draft. He was drafted exactly where I had him, where a lot of people had him, mid-second round pick. I think the things that you like about him is in terms of standout traits. His length and his ability to get off blocks with power. He is a power rusher, just pure right through people to the line of scrimmage and hopefully through the line of scrimmage and on the other side of it. So you can play the run. He's got that length to stand there in 2 gap and hold the point of attack, but he's also got a little bit of a bowling ball rushing style. I think one of the things that you look at with him right now, a really high athletic profile, but a little bit raw. He doesn't necessarily have a plan for what he's doing. He's just kind of wrecking things in the middle of the field. So hopefully we can get a little bit more seasoning on him, get him a rush plan, get him some counters, in the rush game, and maybe that can elevate his pass rush to the next level where he can be a 3-down player. Not my cup of tea, not my guy. I'm not going to lie to you, Mike, but I can see what they're going for with the player, and it was certainly someone that all of us kind of had around this range.
Yeah, I mean, certainly edge, a little bit of a need that was under the radar, and one that we talked about plenty. Now, is he that traditional kind of stand-up outside linebacker? Probably not. Maybe a little bit more in that hand down, Dietrich Wise kind of role, comes inside during passing down. So just intriguing. A piece for Gerard Mayo, Steve Belichick on the defensive side of the ball to play with a little bit. Now, they got another guy to play with as well.
Yeah.
This one a little bit of a surprise because he came from Sacramento State, FCS, but Marty Mapu, who had a great Senior Bowl, one of those kind of under-the-radar risers. I got to admit, under my radar for sure, but then as you kind of start to research him a little bit, it seems like you see, look, he's a hybrid linebacker safety. Again, surprised they stayed on the defensive side of the ball, but when you see what kind of player Mapu is, it kind of makes sense that he's one of their kind of guys.
There's 2 things I think that can make Patriots fans a little bit excited, because I know there's some Patriots fans out there right now that are like, who the heck is this guy, right? And we're taking a guy from Sacramento State in the 3rd round. You take a guy from Oregon, you take a consensus guy in Keon White with the 2nd round pick. We thought we were beyond these types of players this year. The one thing I will give Marty Mapu, he had a great Senior Bowl week, and his downhill trigger and explosiveness to close on the football is legit. Now, the question is, he's coming off this torn pectoral that he had in February while he was working out, preparing for his pro day. So we have no athletic testing numbers on him right now, no pro day numbers, and he wasn't invited to the NFL scouting combine. No, she probably wouldn't have participated in any way. So the question is that explosiveness that he showed at the Senior Bowl, that he showed at Sacramento State, how does that translate to the pro game? Now, the positive is that maybe it could be something like a guy like Kyle Duggar, right, who comes out of nowhere from Lenore-Ryan, but he had the athletic profile to stack on top of the Senior Bowl week. So I can't go quite to Duggar. I can't quite get there with this one. And ultimately, I think we can talk about the fact that they went 3 defensive players at the top of the draft. That stings a little bit, too, if you're the Patriots offense.
Certainly. I mean, he's just a unique body type. I mean, he's tall. He's not very heavy. I mean, we've been talking for years about, hey, we got to get more mobile linebacker. And he's not really that inside linebacker, but you don't really know exactly what it is. Heard from him this night, after he got drafted a little bit on the conference call, and he just sounds like a football player. So again, these guys, we'll see how they look when they get into camp. But as you said, a little bit of a surprise here. 3 defensive players here in the first 2 days. But I think when you look individually at those players, they all kind of make sense as to how they fit here. Was it the best use of resources? We'll see what happens when they get on the field, but it is a little bit of a surprise.
It's fair to be disappointed that they went 3 defensive players at the top of the draft. You have this glaring need at tackle that I feel is an immediate need for this team. They clearly like the veteran guys that they brought in, Riley Reif and Calvin Anderson. I think they look at those 2 guys as people that can contribute to this team this year. But then you look at wide receiver, and we're still clamoring for talent at that position. They clearly like some of the guys there or didn't like this class, which is a fair criticism of this draft class at the position. Not a lot of teams like the class at wide receiver, especially once it dropped off after the first 4 guys went in the first round. It kind of felt like there wasn't much of a middle ground there as well at wide receiver, but you kind of missed out on the tight ends a little bit too. No wide receivers yet. It's fair to be disappointed in that. side of things. At some point in time, you got to get some offensive talent outside of Juju Smith-Schuster and Mike Gesicki. So I'm a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie.
All right, well, we were doing backflips last night. Tonight we're a little bit more scratching our head, but hey, that's how the draft goes. Now, it's not over yet, though. 9 picks on day 3. Are they going to make 9 picks? I doubt it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to kick some into next year. Maybe they're going to trade up, but there still is time for them to maybe make some noise. Anybody, Evan, I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second. Maybe 1 or 2 players just come to your mind that, hey, maybe tomorrow morning we start things off right, pick somebody, one of these.
Well, to be fair, the 3rd round's not quite over yet, so I don't know exactly if these players are still available. But my guy Charlie Jones from Purdue screams Patriots. I know in the past we've looked at guys like Hunter Renfrow or even going all the way back to Cooper Kupp, and it just felt like they were Patriot receivers, right? And I think Charlie Jones definitely fits that bill, and I still think there's going to be some talent at tackle in the 4th round. So maybe they can still hit on those 4 fourth rounders. Maybe they go all offense tomorrow, right? And I don't know if you're going to be the upside that we were hoping for on that side of the football, but at least there'll be some new blood that they can bring in on offense that we can talk about in minicamp and training camp, and hopefully can bring something to this team.
All right, don't forget about those punters in the 5th round. That's a big one, too. I know that's not getting anybody excited either, but don't rule it out. All right, that's going to do it for Dussault and Lazar here, day 2 of the draft. But come back tomorrow, day 3. We're going to wrap this whole thing up. We'll see what they come away with on Saturday.